I got some new junk for the 58. We're going to do an electric fan setup on it, which is probably going to take all of the charging capacity of that generator. It's like 30 amps, and I think this is around 22 amps. This is the largest in diameter one I could find from this company. They make pretty good shit, so I don't want to be going down the road and rely on junk, at least not for that. And then I got a soda blasting gun, so I need to get some sodium bicarbonate, aka baking soda, and a wiring harness. So, hold on. I contacted Painless and said, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Pretty much the whole thing. I'm going to run this 58, but then I'm going to put a Godzilla in here. It's going to be EFI. They recommended this one. So we went with this one. Before you begin, do stuff, okay? Don't forget to do the stuff. I like how they don't braid or put any protective wrap or anything on the harness, but they give you this to buy you, to sell you some, so that's pretty nice. I was just going to make my own harness, but for what this costs, I would have that amount of money in just the wire with probably not even the fucking fuse block. So we do it all right here. That'll be pretty nice. I got some stuff I usually sheath harnesses and stuff with that I make, so I'll just toss that on there and then see what that looks like. But the fan, right? This is the fan shroud I picked up that supposedly come out of that 2-ton dump truck. And I looked, and this fan shroud is about 1 inch too short on either side for that pickup. So I'll probably just get a piece of flat plate, something thin, to cover that gap, so I can still use this shroud with the right whatnot. And then I'll try to find some weather stripping for the top and the bottom if there's any gaps anywhere. The other issue I have, other than this camera always zooming in, is that this hole is a lot larger than my fan. Hold on. This is the fan I got. It's a Pooler, 16-inch, 12 volt, and I think it's 22 or 2400 CFM air it moves. So hopefully that's good enough for what we got going. Whenever I do the Godzilla, I'm going to probably run a dual fan setup for it. Now, as you can see, my fan is a lot smaller than my shroud. So what I'm probably going to do is get some sheet metal and just unzoom the camera again, and then make like half moons, I guess. That way I don't have to try to form a whole piece of sheet metal around the curves and whatnot. So I'll just get a half moon, or I might be able to just put a square in here and then cut it. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, but that's the thought process, what I'm going to try to do right now. So that will hopefully give me what I need. A solid fan shroud, which the majority of these trucks don't have, and a fan that can pull enough air, which the majority of these trucks don't have. So hopefully I won't have any overheating problems with this truck going down the highway. I got a buddy that he has I want to say it's a 66 F250. And on Power Tour last year, he come from Pennsylvania, and he had an issue overheating if he ran too long on the highway, because he just had one of those, hold on. He had it set up like this. This is how I got this truck. Some bullshit little fan. No fan shroud whatsoever. So it couldn't pull enough air through the radiator, and it probably had a bunch of air going around the radiator instead of through it. So I'm probably going to try to get some sort of sheet metal, weather stripping, whatever, and then try to fill in these gaps to force as much air through the radiator as possible. So we got some coolant. But that's why he kept overheating on the highway. He had to slow down, pull over, whatever, and I don't like to do either of those things. So I'm going to try to do this right the first time. I still got to take all this shit apart again and pull this motor. I did drain the oil out of it. I am going to drop the pan first and then just take a look and see if I can see a spun rod bearing or whatever, a measure of the journal, and get some bearings on the way. And another gasket set. Now I'm going to pull the radiator, and I'm going to see if I can mock up that fan while I'm not zoomed in on the table. so that it's just me putting it back in. You know, I don't have to mess around with it in the truck. I got a bad back, man. I don't like leaning over this damn thing. All right, well, that's where we're at, man. Hopefully we can make some progress this week coming before it gets really, really cold again. I don't like working down here in the cold because I worked outside in the cold my whole life. So I don't like to do it in my free time. But you guys be good. I'll let you know what happens.